Hey team, this is Brian Carter, the district manager out in Highland Park, TGP events coordinator, and guy who sells kitchen knives. We've got a series of workshops that we are starting here today, and it's really about getting to those team averages. And just as a reminder, the team averages that we are trying to shoot for, we're going to try and help everyone get to, as you can see here on the screen. It's having about a 66% closing ratio, so about 2 out of 3 people that we see will place an order with us, getting up to a $400 average order size, averaging 5+ recommendations in every demo, and for every 10 calls that we make, we book at least one appointment. So those are the team averages, and the reality is my goal is to help all of you be average at everything. Now, average is not exciting, but average is also not a dirty word. If you are average at everything, you're going to make a solid paycheck here. And then what's good is by getting average at everything, you will become a stable team member and it'll give you the time to get good at the things that naturally seem to fit your personality or the areas that you just get the most fired up. But for today, we want to talk about increasing your average order size and getting more sales. And so that's going to come down to the closing percentage. So today we're going to talk about working on your closing percentage. Now, when I think about this topic, I go back to one of my all-time favorite people who's ever worked with me. Awesome, young lady at the time, and her name was Kim. Now, Kim was super sharp. I knew Kim had a lot of potential to do well here with us. She sounded great in training. She was a hard worker. She cared about her results, but she got off to just a really rough start. She was just having a challenging time and was starting to get a little bit discouraged about herself. Now, I kid you not when I say Kim, her first 8 appointments were all no sales. Okay. Now that's not normal, especially for people that I train. And so when I actually looked into it, I sat down with Kim and I knew Kim wanted to do well. I heard her role playing and training. She was a super sharp person. She sounded really, really good. Now, were there areas she needed to work on? Yeah, were there areas she needed to grow and improve for sure. But I knew if she did the right things, we could easily kind of just turn the dial there where we needed to and immediately improve her results because she was a positive person. She wanted to do well. She was trying to follow the program. She just needed a little bit of extra help. And we all need extra help in different areas. Now, the cool part is once we did get a chance to sort of turn the dial a little and tweak some of those things, she ended up being a 10K fast starter. So again, first 8 appointments, goose egg. But by the end of her fast start, 10K fast starter. So let's kind of dive into here. Now, there's going to be 3 main areas that we're going to focus in on when it comes to increasing your closing percentage. Now, the first one is going to be showing the right people. Okay. So number one, showing the right people. Now, we cover this pretty extensively in training, but showing MAC customers. We got to spend our time with married homeowners. It's just the basketball equivalent of shooting a layup, seeing people that are 2 of the 3, seeing people maybe they're not married, but they live together or they're over 40 and they own a home. It's just different, guys. The stats bear that out. Now, it doesn't mean that single people, for example, can't still be great customers. They really, really can, but it's a lower percentage shot. It's like shooting a 3-point shot versus a layup. So when you're new, you got to stay a little closer to the basket. Focusing on MAC customers, married homeowners. Getting the husband and wife together or the wife by herself. This is a mistake that I made sometimes when I was new. I would just book with the husband and say, oh, he does more of the cooking. Guys, even in a family where the husband does the majority of the cooking, you still want to get the wife there. Again, it's just business and statistics. Husbands will very rarely make decisions for things in the kitchen without input from their wife. And then, of course, no office demos, Starbucks demos, group demos. Something Kim did early on a few times is she would see people in their office because she was just excited to get demos. She was very motivated and she didn't understand that seeing them in the office setting, she was limiting her results because as soon as you're in their office, you're never going to be the biggest priority. Even if they have their own personal office, it's never going to work as well. So make sure we're showing the right people and doing it the right way. Close enough isn't always close enough, especially when you're new. Make sure we show the right people. Now, the second key is going to be following your manual word for word. Everyone thinks they follow their manual word for word, but guys, none of us really fully do, especially not when we're new. So you have to give yourself a little bit of room to say, I bet there's some things I could be doing a little better. I bet I could be following it a little bit closer. For example, when we talk about following your manual means you're cutting up food. The manual tells you tons of times you should cut up food. You got to cut up at least one piece of food on every appointment that you're doing. Cutting food on a demo, it's like cheating. It makes the demo so much better. So going and getting a little pack of tomatoes, a 4-pack of tomatoes at Aldi or Walmart, it'll cost you like $2 and you can cut a tomato on every demo. You do a slice or two and then have the customer do it. Challenge them. Say, hey, how thin a slice can you cut out of this, Mr. Jones? Fully connected. Let's do a competition. Who can get the thinnest cut? Make it fun. All right. Make it fun. The worst thing you can be is forgettable. When it talks about following your manual word for word, are you spending 10 minutes building rapport at the beginning of your demo? Because if you're not spending at least 10 minutes, I promise you're not really following the manual. You want to take that time, even when you're seeing people you know. And sometimes early on, it's not uncommon to have customers feel like they're almost rushing you in your training appointments. And they're like, hey, show us what you got, Brian. Show us these knives you're so excited about. And I love the energy they're bringing. But at the same time, if you rush into it, you're never going to get as good a result as you're capable of getting. Building rapport isn't just for the customer, it's for you. It's providing you with information you might be able to use or recall later if they talk about their kids or how they like to cook or that, whatever it is the case may be. But most importantly is it's just creating a comfortable space. It's creating this different level of open-mindedness with customers. They feel more comfortable, you feel more comfortable. 10 minutes. Time yourself. Time yourself. Check your watch when you go into a demo. Check that watch and say, where am I at? And how long did you actually spend before you got in it? Shorter demos are not automatically better. Now, your demo doesn't need to be long just for the sake of being long. But when I was new, I thought if I could just do a shorter demo, I could squeeze more demos in. What I didn't realize was me doing 5 great demos a day was better than me doing 8 rushed, sloppy demos. Again, it's not that a smaller number is better. It's not. Ideally, you do both. You take the time, you do it the right way, and you work a lot and you work consistently. But I promise you can get 4 or 5 demos every single day without cutting your corners and trying to shorten it unnecessarily. So don't be afraid to take that hour and a half that you need on a demo, and a good chunk of that should be just spending time connecting with them. Also on there, y'all, when you think about following the manual, there's so many little things in there about questions that we ask, writing down prices. Really hold yourself to high standards for that. Your first 25 times you do a Cutco demo should be largely reading the book word for word with a big smile on your face. And then the other thing it says on there, enthusiasm is the key to persuasion without pressure. Get more excited about Cutco. Don't wait for the customer to get excited before you get excited. Get excited cutting a penny. Get excited cutting the rope. Get excited when they cut the leather and go, wow, did that feel a lot better, Mrs. Jones, than the one you currently use? Bring a different kind of energy. You be the pace setter. Don't wait for them to do it. Now, the last big thing, number 3, is asking for the order confidently. And by the way, this is where Kim was maybe missing the boat just a little bit. Simple things that can help you out. Writing down the prices. Writing down the prices is the single biggest thing you can do to increase the amount of sets that you sell when you're new. And doing a great job on the sets helps you sell more pieces. Sometimes people will say, but Brian, I'm not even writing up a lot of orders. I'm not even worried about the sets. I just need to sell some knives. Here's what you have to understand. Doing a good job on the sets helps you sell the individual pieces because you can kind of see on here, this is just my post-it note. Normally, of course, I have a spiral, but I literally write down the prices and I go down, down, down. The prices could be different, but this is just current, but I'll put the total price and then I'll put the 5 pay out to the side. And then I do the galley and then I do a starter set. And them seeing that number getting progressively smaller makes it a lot easier for them to feel comfortable saying yes. And then, by the way, when I get down to something where I'm like, hey, Mrs. Jones, it's like $80 a month for a couple months, and then you never have to buy this stuff ever again for the rest of your life. And you'll feel like the smartest person ever 20 years from now when you're enjoying your Cutco. It's so much of an easier close. Being completely quiet after you ask for the order. This was a big mistake I made. Kim did it too. She would ask for the order, there'd be that momentary pause, and she would kind of feel weird and it would feel uncomfortable, so she would just start talking. Oh, I mean, Mrs. Jones, we have like a galley set, or hey, you can buy them individually. And again, I understand where it was coming from, but it was killing her effectiveness with customers. When you start talking to someone about money, like if you did a presentation for my wife Miriam and I, and you ask me a question about money, I don't blurt out the first thing that comes to the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna sit there for a second and think about it. So to you, it's silent, and to you, it's awkward. But to me and my wife, we're just thinking about it. In fact, if it was awkward to us, we would say something. Kind of make sense? So be completely quiet. Answer objections confidently. Objection is not rejection. It took me a long time to get there, but when a customer gives me an objection now, I just kind of nod my head and real good active listening, and I go, hey, no problem, Mrs. Jones. I completely understand. 64, that's a lot to do all at once. But that's why everyone does it on the 5 pay. Man, if you do it on that 5 pay, it's interest free and it makes it so much easier to budget. Man, that would just be 364 today. That includes tax and everything. Boy, if you could swing that here for a couple months, then you would be set forever. What do you think, Mr. Jones? Could we try it out if we broke it up on that 5 pay? It's nothing more than just the confidence, how reassuring I am. Because when I was new, customers would give me an objection and it would affect my confidence. It would affect my expectations. All of a sudden, I'd just be like, oh, okay. well, we have a galley set. And again, it wasn't projecting that I think this is a great thing for them. A sale is a transfer of enthusiasm, it's a transfer of belief. Do you believe customers should buy? Do you believe customers are going to buy? Because if you don't, if you've already decided, oh, they're probably not going to buy anything from me, I promise you, you're not doing the demo you're capable of, and it's going to show in your sales. Dropping down slowly. The single biggest mistake people make when they're new is they drop down way too fast. Going through the starter sets, you got to take your time. You want to list all the contents of those sets. Mention they come with a free cutting board. Mention that they include the block or the tray. Mention if they come with a sharpener, whatever's included in the photo when you're going through the sets with that customer. It's really important that you slow down because the more you really highlight the contents of the set, the more value you're building and the more the prices make sense. Heavily promote the 5 pay on every set. On any order, you can put the items in Cutco orders and click the little thumbs up, and that's the order advisor. It'll show you what the payment options are for that. And so make sure that you get a chance to do that. And again, like it says on their listing, everything that comes in there makes a huge difference. Now, you've got to show gifts and accessories every single time, even if they didn't buy the knives. Some of my best orders came from customers who just bought flatware or hunting knives or things like that. It makes a big difference. But remember, more training appointments always equal more repetition, more bites at the apple, more shots at the ball. So you want to do as many qualified training appointments as you possibly can. Y'all, just to recap, tips for getting more sales: show the right people, follow the manual word for word, and ask for the order confidently. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing that I really hope you take away is your expectations. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right either way. And maybe you need to have a good conversation with your manager, but ask yourself before every demo, are you expecting them to buy, or are you already coming up with reasons why they probably won't buy from you? And the thing I always challenge my team is this: if anyone else in the team was going to do a demo for your aunt and uncle or your neighbor or your old boss or an old coach, all they would say is, wow, is this person married? Okay, great. Are they 30 to 60 years old? Nice. Do they own a home? Heck yeah. I'm going to go see a Mac. 80% of Macs by Cutco. Every home needs a homemaker. Man, I bet I'm going to hook them up with a set, but at least I'm going to find something great for them. I can't wait to go see this customer. That's the excitement they would have. And you want to bring that same excitement and energy too. Follow the manual, cut up some food, have fun with your customers, and let's focus on getting to that closing percentage of about 2 out of 3 people you're seeing buying. Because I am confident with those small changes you make, just like Kim, you can immediately change that quickly. This week, you can change that right away. And by getting your closing percentage up, we're going to get you those next couple promotions.